Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Oh, good evening. 6 viewers. 1 minute there was no one, and the next there's 6. Hi, Carla. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Charlene. I was going to say hi, gorgeous. All right. Well, let's just wait a minute for the others to hop on. How is everyone doing? Charlene, did you see the weather here? It was minus 20 this morning. Teresa, hi. Lisa, hello, stranger. Nevis, hi. Amanda, hi. Leanne, hi. Shannon, hi. I just sent you another screenshot of my CGM, Shannon. We'll discuss it more. I'm going to do a post as well, another post on the CGM. How's everyone? Yeah, Charlene, do you see the weather here? So much snow. Holly, hi. Angie, hi. It was minus 20 when I woke up this morning, Charlene. You can keep your plus 19. I prefer the freezing cold. We've got lots of people on tonight. That's great. Makes me happy. Even if you don't learn anything, just turn up to make me happy. So this is the last group call of round 9 of the Master's Guide. Time flies. It's crazy. It's like, well, we know time waits for no one, but I can remember all the excitement over the summer before we even started. And now, like, you new members still have another module. You still have the bonus module, but it's crazy how time flies. I want to kind of discuss what happens next. Sure, we'll do that while people are hopping on. So, as many of you are now realizing, there's a lot to learn, and believe it or not, I have not put everything I know in the Master's Guide. I haven't even told people everything I know. I always say, ask me a question, because the answer's somewhere in here. But it's only when someone asks that I'll pull out the information. That's why I like the question of the week. There was actually 3 great questions of the week, but I only did 2. So thank you, Holly, for that one, because that one's super helpful for everyone. Obviously, even I get affected by the darker days. But there's a lot of information, and I don't put it all out because as it is, it's already overwhelming. And I said to many of you at the start of the Masters, and I say it all the time, like, I'm your best tool. I literally am your best tool. I'm like your Google, except I won't bullshit you like Google will. But I know people say, oh, I don't want to bug you. I don't want to bother you. And I'm like, well, you paid me to bug me and bother me. So use me. And it's only this week into week 5, which is actually week 7 since the start of September, because we had 2 study weeks, that a couple of our new members are actually like, oh, I should have taken advantage of you more. I should have asked more questions. And you're doing it now, which is great, but I wish you had realized it a few weeks ago. So that's why I make the Masters lifetime access, and I've been doing this since 2016. And help so many people change their lives and be successful, which I always try to remind myself kind of along the lines of what you practice, Holly, is reminding myself that if I can just help one person, if I can just change one life, that's enough. And luckily enough, I've been able to help change many lives. But that's why I make it lifetime, because this is a long, long journey. I'm still on my journey, man. I've been struggling this week just because I'm burnt out. And then my body decided it was ovulation time. So then it threw in loads of cravings as well. And it's just a blah week with the snow. But to emphasize, this is a lifetime journey. And no matter who you see on Instagram, the Instagram influencers, the fitness models, the dietitians, this, that, no matter who you're looking at, that you would perceive like, oh my God, they're so successful. Like, she's made it. She's done it. She hasn't though. None of us have, because it's a lifetime, and it doesn't matter who you are. Like, if anyone in the health industry tells you this is easy and they've done it and they're finished, they would be lying, because you're never finished. Your body is so unpredictable, as you know, that you could never be finished. And the whole journey of not just weight loss and being successful. And when I speak about success, just to highlight to everyone, obviously I'm a health practitioner, but I'm talking about like to be successful in any area of your life, running a business, raising children, starting a new business, writing a book, which is something I'm doing, keeping a marriage going, learning a language, whatever you want to do to be successful. You have to understand, like, it's never going to be linear. It's never, in the scales aspect, it's never going to go straight down. There's always going to be ups and downs, and you really have to accept that. And one of you like got sick yesterday. Lo and behold, you got sick and it affected the scales. Sure, we didn't expect that, and that's totally out of our control. And that is the journey. And that's why I made this lifetime access. Because so many, if you look at Mandy and Bridget, they're two of the originals. They've been in here since 2016. And you see, they still comment, they still do the check-ins. Because if you actually see their comments, what are we? So Mandy's in since 2016, 2017. So like 6 years later, Mandy will still comment and say, oh, I'm struggling today, I'm feeling really low, or I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I'm tired, or this, that, and the other. She still struggles 6 years later, even though she's at her goal and maintaining. The journey never ends. And some people believe that maintenance is harder. It depends. It's individual. But for new members, right now, you have one module left. You have the bonus module. And then you don't get a break. I was going to say you get a break. You don't get a break. We continue on. You wash, rinse, repeat. So you're going to take the best of what fit you and your lifestyles and that you found doable for you. And I would even go as far as saying easy for you, because a lot of people say certain things are easy. In order for you to be successful in the long term, you have to keep doing it. Only 5% of people, I'm sorry, I think it's a cat hair or something is itching me. Only 5% of people keep the weight off in the long term, so 5 years or more. Most people can lose weight. They can. Like 90% of the population can lose weight. It's keeping it off is the problem. And most people don't. And the simplest answer is because they stopped doing what they did in the first place to lose the weight. So you have to understand that. You have to keep going. So we keep going. So now you're going to take what you liked from, I know a lot of people love the basic eating style, and I'm delighted you do, because I created the basic eating style all those years ago. I don't know, God downloaded it in my head. I don't even remember where I got it from. But you'll do the basic eating style. You'll stick with your morning and evening routines. You'll stick with your supplements. But some of you might say, well, I'm going to do smoothie week every second week. Or I'm going to implement some sweet potato recipes. Or one of you likes to still do carb cycling regularly from the last round. So you have these options. I know one of you is going to be starting the elimination diet. One of our new members will be starting the elimination diet in 2 weeks. So there's all these different options for you. And I am looking at adding in more eating styles in the new year. Like, I think a monthly eating style could be cool for the whole group if you want to try it, like for the bigger group. And even in the master's guide now, for those that you've missed it, there is a section on the elimination diet. There is a section on FODMAP. And of course, you have the option to do the daisy cutters and the 2-day core plan. So you're going to basically take what you like and what worked for you. And obviously, like, what gave you the best results? Which week did you have the best results? Maybe that should be a staple in your life. And you're going to continue on now until Christmas. Our last check-in for Christmas is December 16th. That's just over 7 weeks away. That's still a lot of time for all of us to make a difference. Even if you, speaking to me, myself, I'm speaking to myself, even if you lost a pound a week, that's 7 pounds. And that can make quite a difference in how you feel, in your aches and pains, in your appearance, like that. And if you gain 7 pounds over Christmas, you're like, hey, I broke even. Everyone's happy. But putting it into perspective as well. But you got to do the work for it, of course. You know you have to do the work. But there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be something that gets in your way. But again, that's why this is lifelong. And then we're restarting again. The next round is January 8th. So new members, if you want to go through it again, you totally can. Old members, if you want to go through it again, you totally can. I have in the works as well a 21-day detox that will be coming, and I have an adrenal guide that's coming as well. Coming up soon as well. I'm going to be doing a lot of posts and podcasts on estrogen because I've covered a lot on progesterone now, and I don't want to beat a dead horse more to death. So next is we're going to move to estrogen. But that's what's going to happen going forward. So everything stays as it is. You just don't have the pressure of the modules anymore. So that's good. That really does help a lot because now you can just work on that wash, rinse, repeat, refining aspect of things. Hey, Elizabeth, Jackie, this is my new life. I think I'll always be a part of this group. Oh, I'm so happy to have you. And we get along so well. I hope you all know I try to get along with all of you as best as I can, which is pretty good. I get along great with most of you. You have to have a good relationship with whoever's teaching you. I like to think that I have a lot of integrity at what I do. I was thinking this earlier because I get spammed a lot on Instagram for this, that, and the other. And my Instagram page is a great page, but my followers are not great. But my Facebook followers are like 3,500 on my business page, like Facebook business likes. But on Instagram, it's not so good. And I'm like, well, there's plenty of services out there that I could pay to get me like 10,000 new followers on Instagram. And there's ones that swear they're organic as well. They're actually people who are interested in what I have to say. But I'm like, no, I would rather get one new follower for what I'm actually doing, for the work I'm actually doing. I just have too much integrity. It's like I hate lying to people. I can't lie to people. I always say my example is if someone posts a picture on Facebook of, oh, look at my new hair, it's great. And I'm like, no, it's gross. I won't say anything. I will just move along because I can't lie to people like that. So I do try to keep a good relationship with all of you, even though sometimes I know, I'm well aware that I get really annoying with all my questions and my poking and you know you should participate and you know you shouldn't do that. I know I get annoying, but I do it because I care. I really think if you're going to invest in someone, you invested in me, and you're going to invest in yourself, you want to be with someone that actually cares about your success, that actually wants to see you succeed. I care about your success more than I care about my success. And like, I would rather you're all successful every Saturday morning than my business was successful every Saturday morning, because the business doesn't make me feel good. You being happy and happy with your results makes me feel good. So let's see a few more comments. I love and need the support and emotions every day. Love the 2-day core plan. When I get off track, it pops me back up. And the 3-day cleanse. The 3-day cleanse is epic. It is epic. Krista's sister did the liver gallbladder cleanse recently, and she really liked that. I enjoyed carb cycling, however, it also led me to wanting to eat more carbs than I should now. I just back. Okay, well, that's okay. You see, Mandy, you learned there. And if you didn't have this new awareness that you've gotten now, you wouldn't have noticed that. So already you're winning. I'm sorry, I'm thirsty tonight with the heating and the air conditioning being on. Jordan, I've been here since April 2022, and there's definitely up and down days, more up than down for sure. And I think the community, the group is part of having more ups than downs, because I always think like this group is like a little safe space. I always think of Facebook groups as like rooms, and you walk into this room and you know, these are my people. This is my safe space. These people that care about me and they'll help me, and nobody's here to judge me, and this is my safe space. So I think the group is very helpful with that. And we are somewhat, not only are we a community, we're like a sorority of sisters. Thank you, Jordan. Okay, so that's what's gonna happen. Oh, so excited for Christmas. Are you? Once this week's over, Christmas will be here, and then we got a plan. And everybody panics about Christmas, but you shouldn't, because Christmas is actually not that bad for most people. And I did a post on my Instagram and Facebook business page about an hour ago. What did it say? I'll just read it out to you, because I really like this. Pat myself on the back. It says, you must bring order to the chaos. You have to bring order to the chaos, because your life and your mind are your responsibility. If you want to see success in any part of your life, you must take responsibility and bring order to the chaos. So in regards to Christmas, Christmas is great. But how far off the track or how far on the track you are, it's totally up to you. The group will still be here, but we won't be in the house with you. We won't be in your relative's house. We won't be under the Christmas tree with you. That's on you. Okay. So that's what happens next, and that's super exciting. I want to discuss sleep. I really want to discuss sleep. And there's like a really important topic of mitochondria that I know can be intimidating because it sounds very sciencey, but I'm going to just lay it out for you, because this is what I've been doing with all of you from the beginning. Obviously, most of you know my main focus when I start everyone is to balance the blood sugars and the leptin response. So leptin being your satiety hormone, and then obviously your insulin blood sugars. So balance those and bring down inflammation, and then get your metabolism working properly. And that's where the mitochondria come in. But before we go to that, the sleep aspect. I have learned a lot this year with how my body reacts to food. It's quite the eye-opener. And I'm glad, because it's important that not only do you learn from me, but you learn from yourself. One of the greatest feats in life is to learn and understand oneself. And I can't remember who said it, but the quote, self-mastery is the biggest challenge and achievement that anyone will ever face or have. But so sleep, and I know people are going to roll their eyes, but you have to hear this. It's so important. Sleep is number one. If you don't have sleep, you won't have anything else. Sleep is where you push down inflammation. So if you've got a lot of systemic inflammation and you're not sleeping properly, and when I say sleeping properly, that means you're going through all of your sleep cycles. And I have a podcast that goes in depth on all the sleep cycles and what they're good for. Go check it out. But you're going through all of your sleep cycles, and you're dreaming, and you're getting into your deep sleep, and you're waking up in the morning after approximately 9 hours, and you feel refreshed and let's go. This is great. That's good sleep. And I know for some people that sounds like a dream, but it can be achieved. Some people it just takes a little bit more work than others. But sleep is where you push down that inflammation. Sleep is where you fight off any pathogens and you build your immune system. Deep sleep is where you do a lot of your detoxification, including detoxifying deuterium from the mitochondria. And if you saw my post the other day on 5 things that cause mitochondrial dysfunction, well, deuterium is one of the big ones. REM sleep is where we reconcile everything we've learned during the day, and we consolidate all our memories and we file them away, and then they're ready for us to recall as we need them. Sleep is where you get rid of the brain fog. Your brain shrinks by 60% when you sleep. And I always think of it like a little city that shrinks, and then all the buildings shrink. So then the road sweepers or the little road cleaners can go in and they clean up all the toxins and the plaque and all that inflammatory junk that's kind of accumulated throughout the day with stress and whatnot. And they clean in between the alleyways and the buildings. That goes through your glymphatic system, so not your lymphatic, but the glymphatic is just for the cranium and it connects to the lymphatic. And then you detoxify that. So that's amazing. Like, your brain shrinks and it does all this amazing activity when you go asleep. It's just, the human body is so incredible, and I think people underappreciate it. And when you go to sleep and when you get into this deep sleep, you restore the glucose levels in your brain, because your brain's primary fuel source is glucose. It is made up predominantly of fat, and your brain uses 30% of your energy requirements each day. So if you're using, let's say, if you burn 1,000 calories, which is very low, but if you did, 300 of those calories were used by your brain. Like, that's incredible. But people don't understand the significance of good sleep. So then when you're asleep, you refill those sugar stores, and that really is your willpower battery, because once those sugar stores deplete, bye-bye, Mr. Willpower, that's gone. And then you're going to be more inclined to make bad decisions around food and exercise and stuff like that. But sleep is obviously very important for everything. If you don't have good sleep, hey Annie, if you don't have good sleep, you will regret it. That's the easiest way to put it. You'll regret it. You're going to have the toxic issues. You're going to have constant overstimulation of the nerves and the central nervous system. You'll have misfiring of the neurons in your brain. Most people complain to me about brain fog and what supplements can I take and what this, that. I'm like, well, the first thing with brain fog is you have to sleep. If you're not sleeping, I can give you all the supplements in the world, but it's not going to work if you're not sleeping. You really have to, like, for people who are wired in that constant stress response and adrenal fatigue, the number one prescription is sleep. You have to rest and you have to sleep. And with society, and you're right, Holly, with the way we live now, we're constantly told we need to go, 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 and no, you can't miss this, you can't miss that, you have to go. And we have been brainwashed with foods that we should eat foods a certain way, and certain foods are good for us, and we need to have this, that, and the other to have fun and feel good. And I get it, but at the same time, we've also been brainwashed to think, oh, you have to stay up and watch Netflix and binge watch TV and watch all the series of The Witcher, which I started months ago and I still haven't finished. Now, I'm not a complete prude. I will watch TV, but like an hour or two a week, because my health is more important. Another thing, for those of you that want to stay looking young and full of vitality, especially in your face, for as long as you can. I was saying this to a girl yesterday, that I attribute my youthfulness and my skin, not to toot my own horn, I do think my skin health and integrity has a lot to do with dark chocolate, green tea, black coffee, collagen, and berries. Those, put me on a desert island with those 5 things and pick me up in 10 years and I'll look the same. But sleep is the original fountain of youth. If you don't sleep, man, you are going to age really, really fast. And I heard something interesting from a psychologist today. I was listening to a podcast and he was saying, okay, so your birthday says you're 50. That's 50 times around the calendar. But is that your real age? Is that your body's age? And many of us, I think, have heard of this kind of chronological versus biological age. Someone could be 50 and they could look 65 and they could feel 65. Whereas someone else could be 50 and they could feel like 35 and look 35. And it really is how you take care of yourself. And the original fountain of youth is not goji berries. It is sleep. Sleep is number one. And like if you don't have good sleep, you're going to have a lot of neuroinflammation. You're going to have tension. You might get a migraine. You might have hot sweats or night sweats. You're going to have crazy cravings. You're going to have a lot of this fake hunger. You're going to be irritable. You're going to be cranky. You're going to have low libido. It's a lot to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. But sleep is like our number one prescription. And people just really don't value sleep enough because, again, we've been told oh, you need to stay up later and have your me time and have a glass of wine and have a Netflix. But this repetition of these things we've been told we're supposed to do, they're literally just making us feel worse and worse and worse and worse. So I kind of pride myself being I get up at 5:30, 5:45 every morning. And I think I would rather get up early and be productive and do what I need to do to make me feel good rather than spend an extra couple of hours up late watching TV because I think I need to catch up on this, or I need to watch this series or whatever. I need to have my me time. But then I just feel even worse. My me time is in the morning when I do my makeup and I listen to a podcast and I do my body brushing. And my me time is when I go to the gym or when I do my gratitude journal. My me time is different now. And I hope this kind of puts it into perspective for some of you, because a lot of people compromise or they sacrifice sleep. And again, I'm not a complete prude. I do watch movies. I love going to the cinema. My husband likes me to stay up late with him sometimes, but it's never past 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'm like, goodbye. When I went to that rave with my son 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was recovering for a week. I was exhausted. I was like, oh, I'm going to think about this twice before I do it again. But sleep is so important, especially immune system. Sleep has to be number one for immunity. It has to be. But again, if you don't sleep, which leads us into the next topic. If you don't sleep, you're going to have problems with your mitochondria. You're going to have mitochondrial dysfunction. Now, before we get on to that, I'm sorry for hopping around. Something just popped into my head. When you see someone that doesn't sleep, sleeps really, really bad, and Charlene, I know you've had sleep troubles. I'm not talking about you and your sleep's getting better, but I'm just pointing out for other people, when someone sleeps really bad, they're constantly in this heightened cortisol stress response, all day, every day. And they get to a stage where they don't even recognize it. They just think this is normal. And what will happen then is, not only is the body in this state of systemic stress, you've got then the inflammatory response. And because you've got the inflammatory response, you then are going to get that insulin resistance that comes along with having high cortisol and high inflammation. And I was saying this to you, Shannon, you could eat perfect, you could do everything perfect, but if you have a lot of inflammation in your body, you will have blood sugar issues and insulin resistance. No matter how good you are at everything else, inflammation will cause insulin resistance by itself. Dr. Ben Bickman talks about this, that 3 things that will cause insulin resistance: excess sugar, your trans polyunsaturated fats, greasy foods, the likes, and systemic chronic inflammation. They will cause insulin resistance and diabetes. So inflammation will cause diabetes without anything else being present, which is crazy because most people don't realize that. So then you have all this inflammation and you have the insulin resistance. And when someone's highly stressed, we'll see an accumulation of the fat around their stomach. Some people will just get your normal, like, subcutaneous jiggly fat that you can pinch and wobble. But there's other people who will get the visceral fat, which is very hard. And we see this a lot with people who sleep like crap, like literal crap. Like they don't get into deep sleep, they don't dream, they're just tossing and turning all night, they're awake from all hours in the morning, and they will have really bad visceral fat. They will have plaque buildup in their arteries, they will have fatty liver, they will have the onset of early dementia / Alzheimer's. It's a problem. So sleep is number one. Hi, Jenna. I used to pride myself on my productivity and how much I could accomplish with such little sleep. Oh, how naive you are. Part of my breast cancer treatment and recovery, my journey here, I have learned how incredibly important sleep is. So important. If you even look at breast cancer, you're like, okay, there's some mitochondrial cellular dysfunctioning there. There's inflammation. There's a compromised immune system. Well, the first thing we do is sleep. Really helps to put things into perspective. I'm practically giddy now when I wake up and realize I slept all night and I actually had dreams. I dream like a lunatic. I consider my dreams adventures. Like every night I'm going on an adventure because I have the craziest dreams. One night I was like fighting some sort of war with Captain America. I think I was one of the Avengers. Like I have the craziest dreams. Yes, I 100% feel better when I good week of sleep. This week I've been bad on my sleep and I'm feeling it. Jenna, why have you been bad on your sleep this week? Please share in the comments. And Diana, no, I wasn't describing you. It was someone else, but if it relates, then go with that. Alice in Wonderland, Angie, yeah. Or if I ever have dreams with Tom Hardy, and then I wake up and I'm like, please let me go back asleep forever. Anyway, moving on. Mitochondrial dysfunction. So one thing that happens when you don't sleep is you get mitochondrial dysfunction. So first, what are your mitochondria? I know most of you know, but let's just go through it again. So your mitochondria are like the little energy powerhouses within your cell. And you don't just have one in your cell, you have hundreds in your cells. And the mitochondria are proposed by some to be the original bacteria. So they are a bacteria, but if you look up close to the mitochondria, they're like little machines as well. So it's very interesting. They're bacteria, yet they're machines because they have mechanical aspects and spinning heads in the mitochondria that help to produce the energy, kind of like a little engine. So interesting. Like the body is so interesting. So your mitochondria, they're the ones that produce the energy and give you energy. So you have energy to move around, so I have energy to think, so I have energy to lift weights, so I have energy to heal and repair my skin and my hair, my nails, my muscles, my uterine lining, my heart muscle. Everything when I'm asleep comes down to the mitochondria. Your mitochondria have to be working properly. A big part of that is balancing the insulin response throughout the day, working with your body, sleeping, blah, 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 blah. So these guys produce energy. One analogy I give is if you think of your mitochondria like Homer Simpson's little nuclear power plant that he works in, and when Homer messes up and the power plant doesn't work, you have no fire, you have no energy coming out of it. And then when Homer's working properly, when it's working really well, you've got loads of energy and warmth coming out of it. So sometimes I'll say to my clients just to help them understand a bit better, because one of the first compliments that people start to get when they're really taking care of their health is they'll get compliments on their skin. And someone will say, man, you look really good, you look healthy. So I'm sure you've all at some stage came across someone, maybe someone you haven't seen in a while, and they look very gray and pasty in their face, and you're like, oh man, she looks sick. She doesn't look good at all. And they just have this kind of ill look about them, and it really is gray and pasty, like they have a cold sweat or something on. And then you'll see someone else and you'll be like, oh my God, she looks vibrant. She looks so healthy. Her skin is glowing. It's so clear. Well, the pastiness, that sick looking girl, her mitochondria are not working. There's no energy, there's no warmth, there's no fire coming out of those nuclear power plants. And when people think of cells, they think of the cells in your body. Everything is cell. There's cells in my hair, there's cells in my eyelashes, eyebrows, but your skin, just millions and millions of cells. And when those nuclear plants are working properly and you're taking care of yourself, well, they're raring with energy, and there's loads of health and warmth and vitality coming out of those nuclear power plants. And that's what you see when you say, oh my God, she's glowing, she looks really healthy. That's what you see. And then when those mitochondria or those nuclear plants are not working well, well, then someone's like, they're lethargic, they've no energy, they're very dull, they're very gray looking, they just look sick. And that really is, I think, a helpful analogy for a lot of people to understand, like, it's your mitochondria that are giving you energy, full stop. Because most people I talk to, yeah, they want weight loss and they want to feel better, but most people tell me, oh, I have no energy, I'm just constantly tired all the time, I'm just lethargic. And okay, there could be a thyroid thing going there, but even if there is, that's still the mitochondria. It's still the mitochondria. There's cells still in your thyroid. So if your mitochondria are not working, of course you're going to be exhausted and tired. Now, understanding this in the sense of like weight loss and fat loss and healing and regeneration, and it's important that you include the healing and regeneration, because if you just go after fat loss and you don't take care of your health, you're going to regret it, and you're going to look sickly. If you just try to undereat and starve and like avoid your fairy dust and avoid your supplements and just starve yourself into skinniness, you're going to look sick, and eventually you will get sick. So you got to really put the weight loss and the healing and regeneration in the same category, because you don't want to lose weight and look sick. You want to lose weight and look healthy and feel healthy. So then that comes back to, well, how did the mitochondria work on this level? So to kind of give you another analogy here, there is a lot of people that will come to me, like they'll ask for my help, and I'll talk to them, and they're actually eating like almost nothing. They're under eating, but they keep gaining weight. Like how does that work? One of my clients, I had this conversation with her yesterday. She's plateaued for a while. Now I know why it is, because she's had like severe stress. She lost her job, blah, blah, blah. Like she's had a lot of stress. And to compensate for that, she reduced her calories drastically. Like she showed me a picture yesterday of her lunch. It literally was a plate with a handful of spinach on it, no dressing on the spinach. She had one slice of squirrely bread with mustard on it and 2 boiled eggs. And I was like, hold the phone now, hold on a second, what's going on here? So we had to have a conversation. But we all know these people who say, like, I've tried everything, I've tried calorie restriction, I've tried this, that, and the other, and I just keep gaining weight, and it actually happens. And what is happening there is the mitochondrial dysfunction. The mitochondria are not working. So you're taking in this food, you're consuming whatever substance you're taking in, and your mitochondria are basically, they're so broken, they don't know how to work, that they're like, what the hell is this? I don't know what to do with this. Move along. So your mitochondria don't know how to use the food for energy or healing or anything. So they're like, move along, and that food that you're taking in is not getting used for fuel. It's getting converted directly into fat. So you still feel rubbish, you've no energy, and you keep gaining weight even though you're under eating. And a lot of people, and you see me do it on Tuesday and regularly, I'm like, I need you to eat a bit more. I need you to add this in. I need you to do that. And some people I'll do the opposite. That's usually depending on the time of the day, though. If I see extra sugar in breakfast, I'll pull that back a bit. But that's the whole idea. You can be taking in food till the cows come home, but that doesn't mean that your body is using that food for fuel, to fuel energy production or the healing and regeneration aspects. So you're still lethargic, you think nothing works for me, I feel worse than ever, and I'm still gaining weight. So, and you could be overeating, undereating, same thing's gonna happen. Like, you could be overeating and still not creating energy or feeling any better, because that food still is just being converted to fat. So that whole hypothesis, and I alluded to this on the chronometer call last week, is I said don't go on that first screen, that first dot that says energy burned and your baseline metabolism, because that's irrelevant. That's only a mathematical equation. That could never tell you what your baseline metabolism is. Like, you have to get very specialized and granular with specific machines for that. So again, that thing could tell you, like, chronometer could say, well, your baseline metabolic rate is 1800 calories a day. You may not be using any of those calories for energy. You may just be storing all of those calories for energy. So it's important to understand that. Because as you can see, there's a lot to be considered, which is partially why I get so annoying when you ask me a question. And I'm like, okay, well, first I have to ask you these 25 questions before I can give you one answer. It's because I have to understand the whole picture. But I hope this call is helping you understand, like, okay, maybe some of you are saying, okay, I've kind of half-assed been doing things, and this kind of explains a lot. And I know a couple of you that have been under eating, and I've spoke to you several times about that. You can't under eat, because not only then do you put yourself in a bigger hole, then you give me an extra challenge to help you, because then I have to start considering, well, if I'm going to reverse diet you, how are we going to do this? Some people, you can only reverse diet them with, say, an extra 30 calories a day or an extra 100 calories a week. It can get very granular, and obviously that's going to give me a lot of work. Like, I'm not afraid of hard work, but if we can make it easy on all of us, let's do that. But there's a lot to be considered. So what we're doing is we're obviously prioritizing sleep. The evening routine is there for a reason, and it's kind of standard. Obviously, I recommend certain things regularly, but some people don't like the Tulsi tea and they do something else. But it's standard because there's always a baseline that will work for the majority, and then the minority need a little bit extra tweaking and help. But there's always going to be a baseline, because even though we're all individual, we're still all human. Like, we still all have the same DNA, like, we're still human, so there's always that baseline. But we're prioritizing our sleep, and then we're controlling that insulin response so that we can control the blood sugars, and then how all the other hormones work, because insulin really is like that master hormone. And then we're looking at our inflammation, and we're making sure that we have the good nutrition, which is where the fairy dust is amazing, because it's an easy way to get that extra nutrition in for you to support these different systems and functions and the mitochondria. And we do all this, and we wash, rinse, repeat, and we wash, rinse, repeat, and then eventually we get where we want to be. But every day you just got to keep chipping away at it. But understanding how the mitochondria work is key in this, because it is very much that case of what I said, like, I'm doing this, this, and this, but I'm still lethargic, and I'm still so tired, and I have brain fog, and I've still got cravings and low motivation, and I'm not losing weight. Well, have you fully put in the work to help the mitochondria work better. And that also includes making sure you have enough protein, making sure you have enough carbs. If you're doing your refeed day, I spoke to one of you about this yesterday, like the refeed offsetting tools, like I highly recommend you do them. Like they are very, very important. So you're having this day of fun food or whatever you're having, but the refeed helps to control the blood sugars. It helps to control you from overeating. It's very hard, or it's very easy to go crazy on refeed day and overeat and make yourself feel sick. Nobody wants that. But the offsetting tools help to prevent that. And they do. They actually do. It actually works. You have to do it. I spend hours and hours each day doing research and sharing studies, and I've been doing this for so long that everything I recommend, like I've put hours of research behind everything I recommend, and it works when you do it, and it really works. And I think that's enough kind of research that we need, is to just see it works. But that can help with the microbiome and the blood sugars and that self-control and the metabolizing the sugars and all that. So everything is important when we do it. Tom, yeah, oh my God, Tom Hardy, although he's not looking great now as he's getting older. Maybe he could do with the Masters guide. I'm going to send him an email and be like, hey Tom, are you having your dark chocolate in the morning? Because I feel like you're missing that. Like you're starting to look a little bit old there. So yeah, mitochondria. Has anyone got any questions? Because I know it can be a bit overwhelming. Does anyone have any questions around metabolism while you have me? Or tweaking metabolism or anything? Because again, there's actually a lot in here, but it doesn't come out until people actually ask me. It's like I kind of have to go in and pull it out. Like in Harry Potter, where Dumbledore gets the wand and like pulls out a memory. That's what it's like for me. Okay. So we've emphasized the importance of sleep. Thyroid question. Go for it. I did a good thyroid because someone asked me about enlarged thyroid this week, so that was one of the questions in the biohacking group this morning. Question of the week. She said she had an enlarged thyroid and her doctor still has to follow up with her. And like one of the first things when you see an enlarged thyroid is, well, like, do you have an iodine deficiency? Is your diet shit? Like that's the first question. Most things, like people know this, you know this. Most things come back to crappy nutrition. Like you clean up the nutrition, you're gonna fix half your problems. And that's not just in your body and health. Like half mental health problems can be easily fixed by cleaning up the diet, and even like relationship problems if you're constantly fighting with your boyfriend or whatever. Just clean up your diet. Yeah, okay. Angie said, interested in the effects of fluoride on thyroid. Not only does fluoride destroy the thyroid, but it also lodges in the pineal gland. There is a big connection between, actually, now you've got me going, Angie. You're going to regret this. There is a connection between aluminum and fluoride binding together and helping each other cross the blood-brain barrier. So they're kind of piggybacking on each other. There is direct connections, and the research is there. And I'm not saying correlation, I'm saying connection between aluminum or aluminium, as we say it in Ireland, being one of the main drivers of Alzheimer's and dementia. So now we have aluminium piggybacking on fluoride, which crosses the blood-brain barrier and lodges in the pineal gland. And the pineal gland, excuse me, is super important, not just for the stimulating of the hormones, but also for stress responses and survival mechanisms. But anyway, so yeah, that is there. Like I don't use And I know a lot of people who will agree with me, even dentists. My friend, one of my dear friends, owns Woodside Dentures here in Airdrie. She will agree, like, fluoride's a bad idea. The whole argument of, well, fluoride prevents cavities, blah, blah, blah. Well, one, so does not eating crap and pop all the time. And two, well, then give it to the people who want it. Don't make everyone have it when everyone doesn't want it. If someone wants fluoride, they can use fluoride toothpaste or mouthwash or whatever. But don't put it in the water, because the connection is there with not just thyroid issues, bone degeneration, mental health issues, adrenal issues connected to fluoride. So Angie, let me find this. I had an interview with, you may know this guy, Dr. Bob Dixon. Dr. Bob Dixon. He's one of the loudest voices in Alberta, but especially Calgary, for fighting fluoride being added back. I should redo this. Added back into our water, and he's one of the guys who's been in court trying to get it all pushed down. And I did an interview with him, man, it was about 3 years ago. I found it. I'm going to share it here with Dr. Bob Dickens. I was very good, and he goes into depth on all the different aspects of fluoride and why it's a problem and why we should all be like fighting it and signing the petitions. And there's loads of petitions that go around. There's a girl actually in the biohacking group. I'll have to find her name. It's on the top of my tongue and it'll come back to me in my sleep or something. And she's actually one of the leaders in arranging all of these petitions for Calgary that get put into the courts and the government petitions. Oh man, I can't, her name's on top of my tongue. It's something to do with cats. It reminds me of cats. I'll figure it out and I'll reach out to her and see what's happening there. But here's the podcast episode. Check it out. And as for Brita, I've never ever recommended Brita in my whole life, because it's actually the Clorox people who make Brita. And Clorox also make toilet cleaners and bleach and everything. And if they're doing all those chemicals, I don't want them filtering my water. But what actually is a really good one is Zero Water is pretty good. And then of course you have the whole reverse osmosis systems and all. Brita is not a good option. And as well though, it's important to understand there is elemental fluoride, which is non-toxic, that you would get, say, from the springs in Banff, when you get water from the taps in Banff that come directly off the mountains or out of the springs, that will contain elemental fluoride. And that is safe. That's not like our manipulated fluoride that they're adding into the waters here in the city. So there is different types of fluoride. But there's also a girl called the Thyroid Pharmacist. And she talks a lot about the halogens and fluoride and how they destroy the fluoride. So personally, I don't get a lot of fluoride exposure. You will get elemental fluoride in Pellegrino and Aquapana and the likes of them. But I don't use fluoride in my mouthwash. Haven't used fluoride in my toothpaste for donkey's years. And I really think the cavity problem that we have is more to do with people's nutrition than it is the fluoride in their water. And if they really think it is, they can just get fluoride toothpaste and mouthwash. And I really am the type of person for freedom of choice. We should be able to choose what we want to do with our body. So don't put it in all of our waters when all of us don't want it. So anyway, check out that podcast. But it's not being added in the water yet, has it, Angie? I had heard it still isn't coming for a couple of months. And unfortunately, Airdrie is on Calgary city water lines. Non-fluoride to avoid an aluminium-based body. Melanie asked earlier on, like, she does everything I tell her, everything's clean, everything's great. And even me, if I got tested for aluminium or aluminum, I would probably have high levels of aluminium in my body, even though I don't go out of my way to consume anything bad, or like all my makeup is clean, my deodorant, Diana, is clean, toothpaste, all of it's clean as possible, except aluminium's in the atmosphere. It falls from the sky, so you can't avoid it. And that also means it's in the rain. So even our organic products have some aluminium in them. Fish has aluminium. Like, it's everywhere. It's very hard to avoid. That's why, as Catherine likes to pick on me about, I always say all you can do is stack conditions in your favor. It's falling from the sky. Unless you're going to start wearing gas masks and full hazmat suits all day, every day, and filter all the air in your house and blah, you can't avoid it. So the alternative is you have to stack conditions in your favor. You can use daily binders, cilantro, parsley, horsetail, chlorophyll will bind, montmorillonite clay. I really like that. Some people like bentonite clay. There's options, but you got to stack conditions. Epsom salt baths help to remove aluminum as well. Diana, I'll have to get the picture when we're off. One that I use is, I believe it's Tom's deodorant. I like that. But there's another one that I got, and that's pretty good as well and has a good reputation. I'll have to check that out, Angie. I'll get you pictures, Diana, when we're done, and then you can take a look. A lot of people know. So you can get a lot of stuff here in town. Superstore has deodorant, Diana. Nutters has deodorant. People know Native is a good option as well. I have a teeny travel Native around that size for my makeup bag. That's coconut that I really like. Teeny tiny one, Jackie. But a lot of people know I go to Community Foods, so I can kind of check out what's there, and I'll get stuff there. I know it's quite a drive away. It sucks that we don't have better health food stores in Airdrie. Even in Community Foods, because we're going to be at 100,000 people soon. Like, why wouldn't we have one? But yeah, there's options you can get in town. Let me just Google this. Okay, it says they stopped adding it in 2011. According to the city now. Oh, Calgary adding fluoride back into the water in 2024. Lucky us, because they care so much about our health. Isn't that great? Sarcasm at its finest. Okay, the city says it expects fluoridation infrastructure to be in place by June 2024. So that gives us enough time to either petition or stock up on a load of chlorophyll and cilantro and everything else. Or we can all just go dig a well somewhere. Maybe we can like pitch in money and buy a plot of land that's over a well, and we can all have a share in it. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Okay, anything else? I think that was a pretty good call. Pretty happy with myself. Covered a lot there. Any more questions while you have me? I'll do probably one or two sporadic calls between now and Christmas as well. Jackie, you know I like to do that. Just stuff that I see come up a lot. I will do a call just to help people understand, because I can talk more on the calls. I'm pretty thirsty. Want to do a video maybe tomorrow on this week and the change in the weather and thirst and constipation and all that. Okay, thanks, Teresa. You're very welcome. All right, everyone, I'll let you go. Good night. We all got to start our evening routine because sleep is number one. I'm going to figure out how to put that hashtag on the videos somewhere. All right, good night, everyone. Have a good evening. Chat to you in the morning. Bye.